Hi and welcome to another Watch Geek video. Today we'll be doing a tutorial for the module 3294 that beats inside this B640 Casio. But before we move on, I just wanted to thank Silvertime Master for supplying this watch, and if you want to check them out, you can click on the link in the description. Also in the description you will find a table of content with time codes, so you can jump to specific parts of the video or functions of the watch. However, I would advise you to watch the whole thing the first time, just so you get acquainted with all the functions that this watch offers. So this watch has an alarm, a countdown timer, and a stopwatch. To toggle between all these functions, when you're in the home screen, you simply press the mode button, which is this right here. When you press it, you're going to go to the alarm, the countdown timer, the stopwatch, and back to the home screen. And as you can see, the home screen has a bit of a higher pitch, just so you know you're back. Now in the home screen, this watch is going to display the hours, the minutes, the seconds, the date, the month, and the day of the week. While in the home screen, you have to set up the time, the calendar data for this watch to show the accurate time. To do so, you use this recessed button right here, so to enter the adjusting mode. When you press it, the seconds are going to start flashing. Now, while you're in the adjusting mode of the home screen, pressing this upper button right here is going to toggle the watch between the 24 and 12-hour display. So now we're at 12-hour display, meaning that the watch is going to show you the AM/PM indicator. So in this case, it's AM. When we toggle it to 24, the watch is going to be displaying military time. So now it's 5:33. If it was 5:33 p.m., the watch would write 17. I prefer this, so we're going to leave it like this. So to toggle, like I said, the 12-24-hour format, you just have to be inside the adjusting mode of the home screen and use this button. When you to reset the seconds to 0, you use this button. And if you reset them like now, between 30 and 59, they're going to jump to 0, but these minutes are going to move by 1 up. So let's do it. Like so. As you can see, the minutes just moved to 34. If you reset them before 30 seconds, so from 0 to 29, like so, the seconds are going to go back to 0, but the minutes are going to stay unchanged. So let's do it like this. As you can see, the 34 has remained 34. Pressing the mode button, the watch asks you what the hours you want to set it for. And again, you can only go one way by pressing this lower button, because like I said, even here, this will just toggle between 12 and 24-hour display. And you can move it forward by pressing, or if you want to press and hold, it's going to speed scroll through the values. Once you've set up the hours, you press the mode button, the watch is going to ask you for the minutes. And again, by pressing this button, you can move the minutes, and you can even speed scroll by pressing and holding them. Like so. Pressing the mode button again, the watch is going to ask you for the year, and you can again go up only one way, which is up. So if you miss from 19 to, let's say, 2020 and it's 2019, you have to go all the way to year 2099, and then it's going to jump back to, I believe, 2000 or something like that. So if you miss the year, you're just going to have to speed scroll the whole cycle. Pressing the mode button again, it asks you for the month. And again, you can go only one way, up. And pressing it again, it's going to ask you for the date. And that's pretty much it. Pressing the mode button again, the watch jumps back to the second selection, because the day of the week is calculated automatically. So you don't have to put it inside the watch already knows based on the calendar data. Once you've set up everything the way you wanted, to exit the adjusting screen, you simply press this recessed adjust button again, like so. And as you can see, the watch just wrote down the correct day of the week. And that's pretty much it. While in the home screen, if you press this button, you're going to activate the backlight, as you can see right here. If you press this button, nothing's going to happen. However, if you press and hold this button, you're going to activate the flash function. That's going to be indicated by this little symbol right here. The flash function means that the watch, whenever an alarm goes off, a timer reaches 0, or the hourly chime goes off, the screen is also going to flash with the backlight, which is a pretty useful function for someone who has a hearing impairment. To turn off the flash function, you simply press and hold this button again until the symbol disappears. And that's pretty much it. Let's move on to the next function. The next function is the alarm, and this watch has a multi-function alarm. It's only one, but you can set it up as a daily alarm, meaning that it's going to go off every day. You can set it up as a yearly alarm, so once every year. You can set it up as a monthly alarm, so all the days in a certain month. And you can set it as a daily alarm in a way that the watch is a date alarm. You set up the date and it's going to keep repeating itself during that date. Now to turn on or off the alarm, you simply press the lower button. And now you've just turned on the alarm. Pressing it again, you've turned on the hourly chime. So if you have this symbol right here, it means that the watch is going to beep every full hour. Pressing it again, it's going to turn both of these on, and pressing it again, it's going to turn off both of these at the same time. So you just toggle it with the lower button. Now, even if the alarm is turned off, as soon as you start adjusting it, and you adjust it just like the main time, so by pressing this recessed button, the alarm is going to turn on itself automatically, and now the watch is going to ask you for the hours. And pressing the lower button, you can move through the hours. Pressing the mode button again, the watch is going to ask you for the minutes. Again, you can set it up like this, and now this alarm is going to go off at 4:05 every day. However, if you press the mode button again, the watch is going to ask you for the calendar data. So now it's asking you what month you want the watch to go off at. So if you put it like this, let's say March, and leave the date empty, this alarm is going to be a daily alarm that's going to go off every day during the month of March. If you press the mode button again and we put the date as well, now this is going to be a yearly alarm that's going to go off every year at 6th of March at 4:05 a.m. And finally, if we put the month to hyphens to nothing, I just missed it, like so, this watch, alarm is going to go off all year, or on every 6th day of every month. So I hope you understand what I mean when I'm explaining all that. If you put everything back to hyphens, like so, the watch becomes, the alarm becomes a daily alarm that's going to go off every single day. And that's pretty much it. When you're satisfied with the setup, you simply press the adjust button to exit the adjusting screen of the alarm. And that's it when it comes to the alarm. Okay, moving on. And now I don't know if you noticed, but as soon as you change anything in any of the functions, the next press of the mode button is going to automatically take you back to the home screen, which just happened. So pressing the mode button again, let's move on to the countdown timer. Now in the countdown timer and the stopwatch, this watch is going to display the current time in this corner right here. Now this watch comes with a 24-hour countdown timer, I believe, and you started with the lower button. If you started with zeros, it's going to start with 23:59 and go back to 0. Once it reaches 0, it's going to beep, or if you had the flash function enabled, it's going to beep and flash the backlight of the screen. You can naturally stop it, and you can reset it with the adjust button. You can also set it up to any desired time between 1 second and 24 hours. To do so, while in the countdown timer, you press the adjust button, and the watch is going to ask you the hours. Again, you can only go up, like so. Pressing the mode button, it's going to ask you for the minutes. Again, you can go only up, and pressing the mode button again, the watch is going to ask you for the seconds. Meaning, and again, you can go only up. So this timer can be set down to the second. However, if you press this upper button while you're in the adjusting screen of the countdown timer, you're going to have this little auto show up here. What this means is that you activated the auto repeat function. So when this countdown timer reaches 0, it's gonna beep, but it's gonna restart automatically. And this is pretty useful when you're, let's say, on a medication or something, and you have to take pills every 5 hours, 6 hours, 8 hours, whatever. You just set up the desired time and push the auto repeat, and once you exit the adjusting, you start the countdown timer. And now once it reaches 0, it's just gonna keep repeating itself until you actually stop it. So like I said, very useful function to me, one of the most useful functions on basic G-Shocks and basic Casio watches. To me, it's better than having, I don't know, 5 alarms. And that's pretty much it when it comes to the countdown timer. So when we press it, it's going to jump back to the home screen, like I said. So let's move on to the stopwatch, which is the last function. This watch comes with a 24-hour stopwatch that can measure down to 1/100th of a second. You can start it with the lower button, you can stop it, and you can also reset it. Another thing that you can do is have the split times. So you start the stopwatch, and while it's running, if you press this right here, the screen is going to freeze, but the stopwatch keeps running in the background. When you've written the data of the screen, you can unfreeze it by pressing this again, and as you can see, the stopwatch keeps running. And you can do the first and second place. So while the stopwatch is running, you press the upper button, and if you have two runners, once the first one goes through the finish line, you press this button. Once the second one goes through the finish line, you press this button. Now, once you've written the time of the first runner, you press the adjust button. It's going to take you to the time of the second runner, and pressing it again resets the stopwatch. And that's pretty much it. Pressing the mode button again takes you back to the home screen. Well, that's pretty much it when it comes to the tutorial for this watch. It's a pretty simple module that is almost identical to the ones found in the basic squares, the 1545 and the 3229. The difference is the backlight. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed the video and found it useful. If you did, please like and subscribe, and until the next video, bye.